now, I would like to introduce our first speaker, if you don't consider me a speaker, Shane McCarthy of the Sunrise Movement in Asheville. Thank you.
Mic check. Doing okay? Awesome. Thanks. All right, thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Shane McCarthy. I'm honored to be here with you tonight. Thanks for coming out and supporting and spending the night with these great organizations who are really on the front line fighting against the climate crisis. I'm with the Sunrise Movement in Asheville. The Sunrise Movement is youth-based organization that fights climate change and advocates for solutions to the interconnected crises that are facing our planet and our communities. We're a nationwide organization. We're growing fast. We have hubs all over the country, including 4 in North Carolina, 2 more opening up in new cities soon. And we really started to take off after the 2018 elections. What happened then was Sunrise members in DC held a sit-in in Nancy Pelosi's office. And we went there and asked her, what's your plan? What's your plan to fight the climate crisis? What's your plan to ensure that I have a livable future on this planet? What's your plan to protect us from storms that are gaining intensity, that are getting more deadly, and that are getting more frequent? And we also asked her to support the Green New Deal, which is a groundbreaking piece of legislation in Congress that would make America carbon neutral by 2030 while creating millions of good-paying jobs. And at that time, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had just been elected, and she jumped in and joined us. Since then, she's been a huge ally in the fight against climate change and introduced the Green New Deal resolution. And that sit-in really helped the Sunrise Movement kick off. We also launched the Green New Deal into the national conversation. So fast forward to today. We just heard that July was the hottest month in history since we started reporting in 1880. We just heard that methane emissions are at an all-time high due to fracking in the United States. Methane is the greenhouse gas that's far more potent than CO2 is. And we just heard that the Trump administration rolled back Obama's Clean Power Plan and replaced it with a plan that protects coal companies and weakens emission standards.
Boo.
Thank you for that boo. Yeah, so what's happening? Right now it seems like we're not winning this fight. It seems like we're going backwards. But it doesn't have to be that way because majorities of voters in both parties support the tenets of the Green New Deal. Majorities of voters in both parties believe that the government should take action against climate change. So we have the people on our side. We have the people. What we need to do is take the power back. We need to take the power back from corrupt politicians. We need to take the power back from fossil fuel company CEOs. And we need to take the power back from those who are profiting off the exploitation of our planet, which is our life support system. And that's what the Sunrise Movement's all about. So that's the problem. Here's what we're going to do about it. Nationally, we're making the climate crisis a top issue in this presidential election. We're pressing candidates to support the Green New Deal. We're putting pressure on the Democratic National Committee to hold a climate debate for the presidential candidates. That means we're contacting every voting member of the DNC, and we're letting them know that this is a top issue. We're letting them know that we want a climate debate, where candidates can debate whose climate plan is the best. And we're letting them know that the climate crisis is not a single issue that can be resolved in 30-second sound bites during a debate. And we're doing even more locally. Earlier this month, we held Mark Meadows accountable, Congressman Mark Meadows, for his refusal to act on the climate crisis during his town hall in Buncombe County. We're fighting to end Duke's monopoly on electricity in the state so that you have a choice to buy electricity from a more responsible source. And we're supporting Community Roots and their goals of 100% renewable Asheville and a climate bill of rights by 2030. And we believe that in addition to a Green New Deal for the country, we need a Green New Deal for Asheville. That means we need a thriving public transportation system, not just functioning, but a thriving system. We need access to community gardens and food. We need living wage jobs. We need affordable housing. And we need to bring frontline communities, the people who are affected most, to the table on all these issues. All these issues are related, and they're all interconnected. None of them exist in a vacuum. Another thing we're doing is we're raising awareness about Asheville's 100% renewable power plan. So the city's aiming to power all city and county buildings with renewable energy by 2030. And that's great. I'm really glad that Asheville is taking on this challenge. But we need more from this plan. It doesn't include vehicles, which is a huge part of the mission. It doesn't include the gas used to heat buildings. Both of those are substantial contributors to air pollution and the disease that comes with that. They're substantial contributors to climate change. And also, city and county buildings only account for 0.9% of the total energy use in the county. So that's why we need more ambition from this plan, because we don't have 11 years until 2030. We don't have 11 years to save 0.9% of our energy. UN scientists are telling us that we have 11 years to completely transform our energy system and our economy if we want to avoid the worst effects of climate change. So we don't have time for incremental solutions. We don't have the time for half measures. We don't have the time for baby steps. So the city is holding a feedback session on August 22. It's at Stevensley Recreation Center, right over that way, over Charlotte Street. Please go thank them for their efforts to this point and tell them that we need more urgency from their plan. Because Asheville should be a leader, and it can be a leader when it comes to fighting the climate crisis. Again, I want to thank everyone for being here. We couldn't do this kind of stuff without your support. We need you now more than ever. So if you haven't donated, please do, so these organizations can keep fighting for our plan. I'd love it if you could learn more about the Sunrise Movement and get involved. Just check out sunrisemovement.org, and our Facebook page for our local chapter is Sunrise Movement Asheville. Thanks, and again, I'm Shane McCarthy. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.